Laura Bennett stared out into the vast emptiness of space from the bridge of her starship, the Frontier. Her eyes traced the endless stars, bright specks scattered across the darkness, each with their own worlds, their own mysteries. She had spent years exploring these distant places, discovering new worlds and new civilizations. But one mystery always lingered in her mind: the legend of humans. The Zilari Empire, the largest and strongest civilization known, had long believed that humans were nothing more than ancient stories. Stories told to children around glowing holographic fires, meant to entertain and frighten. Humans were described as strong, brave beings who had once ruled the stars before vanishing suddenly and mysteriously. They were legends, nothing more. But Laura always wondered. She listened carefully whenever someone mentioned humans. In the lonely silence of space travel, she often imagined what humans might be like. Her first officer, Lieutenant John Hartley, often teased her about it, though he shared her curiosity. "Captain," Hartley said softly, breaking her thoughts, "we've received a strange signal." Laura turned sharply, eyebrows raised. "A signal? From where?" "Unknown source, far beyond our borders," Hartley replied. He tapped his console, and a soft hum filled the bridge. "Listen." The sound was unlike anything she had ever heard, a steady pulse, rhythmic yet mysterious. It resonated softly around them, haunting in its simplicity. "What do you think it means?" Hartley asked, clearly intrigued. "I'm not sure," Laura replied thoughtfully. "But we need to report this." Hours later, the Zilari Council held an emergency meeting. The message had stirred fear and confusion. Leaders from across the Empire debated fiercely. "This could be a trick." "A trap set by our enemies," said Admiral Joseph Price, an old and cautious commander. "But what if it's real?" argued Ambassador Stephen Cole, known for his calm reason. "What if humans truly exist and have finally returned?" Laura listened silently, standing near the back of the room. The arguments went on, filled with fear, hope, and skepticism. Eventually, the council reached a decision. Laura's ship, Frontier, would lead a small group of vessels to investigate. Days later, Laura stood again on her bridge, heart pounding with excitement and worry. Beside her, Hartley watched the screens carefully, their ship now nearing the signal source. "Captain, we're entering unknown space," Hartley announced quietly. His voice was tense, reflecting the nervousness they all felt. "Understood." Laura sighed steadily. "Stay alert." Their sensors beeped urgently as something enormous appeared ahead. Laura felt her heart skip. Before them floated ships many times larger than anything she'd ever seen. Their sleek, shining hulls glowed gently, radiating strength and advanced technology. "Impossible," Hartley breathed. "These aren't Zilari ships." Laura nodded slowly. Her eyes widened as realization struck. Could these truly be human vessels? "Captain, incoming transmission," Hartley reported sharply. "Put it through," she ordered, voice firm despite her racing heart. A hologram shimmered into life. A woman appeared, tall and composed, wearing a uniform Laura didn't recognize. Her eyes were clear and confident, her presence commanding respect. "Greetings." The woman began calmly, speaking their language perfectly, though with an unfamiliar accent. "I am Admiral Olivia Carter of the Human Fleet. We come in peace and friendship." Laura felt her knees weaken slightly but stood firm, holding her breath. It was true. Humans were real, not just legends. "I am Captain Laura Bennett of the Zilari Empire," she responded with steady determination. "Welcome back to the galaxy." "Admiral." Carter smiled warmly, visibly relieved. "Captain Bennett, your welcome means more than you know. It has been centuries since our people traveled openly among the stars." Laura glanced around her bridge. Her crew stood transfixed, amazement and awe etched clearly on every face. She knew this meeting would change everything. "Perhaps we have much to learn from each other," Laura said, extending the first tentative hand of friendship. "Indeed we do," Carter agreed, nodding. We look forward to it. The transmission ended, leaving Laura staring into space again, though now everything felt different. The empty darkness seemed full of possibilities and adventures waiting to happen. She had lived her entire life dreaming about humans, and now they stood at the threshold of a new age, an age filled with promise, partnership, and discovery. Laura took a deep breath, settling herself. Lieutenant Hartley, inform the Council. Humanity is no longer a legend. They have arrived. The news of humanity's return spread through the Zalari Empire like wildfire. Every world, station, and ship was talking about it. People stopped what they were doing just to watch the recording of Admiral Carter's message. Some were amazed, others frightened, and many confused. For centuries, humans have been seen as nothing more than a story. Now they were real, and they had come back. Captain Laura Bennett watched her crew as they gathered in the common area. Everyone looked at the screen, watching the human ships as they moved with grace and power. They looked advanced, more advanced than anything the Zalari had ever built. Lieutenant Hartley sat beside her, still looking stunned. "I never thought I'd see something like this," he whispered. Laura nodded. "Neither did I, but they're here now. We need to learn everything we can." Back on the Zalari homeworld, the High Council met again. The discussion was louder, more intense than before. Some wanted to welcome the humans. Others wanted to prepare for war. A few still believed it was all a trick. Ambassador Stephen Cole stood and raised his hand. "We have a choice. We can act out of fear, or we can act with hope. These humans came in peace. They could have attacked. They did not. We must send a diplomatic team to meet them." Many nodded. Others looked unsure, but finally the council agreed. A group will be sent to meet with the humans. Stephen Cole would lead it. Laura received the new orders quickly. The frontier will remain near the human fleet and help the ambassador's ship on its journey. She accepted the mission without question. 2 days later, the ambassador's sleek, silver ship glided out from the docks. Laura's ship followed closely behind. The human fleet waited ahead, quiet and still, like watchers in the void. It was clear they had been prepared for a long time. As they neared the fleet, a new message arrived. It was short and simple. "Ambassador Cole, you are welcome aboard the Endeavor. Please proceed when ready." Laura watched as the ambassador's ship connected with the human flagship. She knew this moment would be remembered forever. History was being written in front of her eyes. Inside the Endeavor, Stephen Cole walked through. Clean, bright halls. The human design was elegant and strong, and everything felt carefully made. He was greeted by Admiral Carter herself. "Ambassador Cole," she said kindly, "it is a great honor." "The honor is mine," Cole replied. "You have returned after many years. Many believed you were only myths." Admiral Carter smiled. "We left when the galaxy was not ready. Now we return with open hands. We hope for friendship." They walked together through the ship, speaking of old stories, of past wars, and of the quiet years when humans disappeared. Carter explained how humanity had hidden, grown stronger, and built a peaceful home far beyond known space. "We watched the galaxy," she said. "We saw the rise of the Zalari. We chose to return now because we believe the time is right." Cole listened with great care. He felt a strange calm in her words. There was no threat, only truth. Still, he asked, "Why now? Why not earlier?" Carter looked at him closely. "Because now we see fear rising again. Darkness gathers in forgotten corners. We do not wish to rule. We wish to help." Back on the frontier, Laura received small updates from Cole's team. Everything was going well. The humans were honest, open, and respectful. She began to feel something new. Hope. Her crew asked questions. They wanted to know about human food, music, stories. The humans shared what they could. They sent recordings, books, even games. The Zalari crew laughed and cried watching old human films and listening to strange, beautiful music. Hartley brought a report to Laura. "Captain, Their culture is rich. There's so much they've done. We could learn a lot, Lara smiled. Then we should. But not everyone was happy. Some Zilari leaders still feared the humans. They believed the humans had returned to take control. Quiet whispers grew louder. There were plans to test humanity's strength, to push them, maybe even trap them. Lara knew the signs. She had seen it before, fear turning to hate. She had to act fast. She contacted Cole. "Stephen, be careful." "Not. Everyone wants peace," he replied. "I know, but I believe they will see the truth soon." As the meeting between the humans and Zilari continued, the seeds of trust began to grow. People from both sides started to believe that something good could come from this. Lara stood again on the bridge of her ship, looking at the stars. She no longer saw just myths. She saw allies. She saw hope. She saw the beginning of something new. And somewhere deep inside, she felt that this was only the start. Captain Lara Bennett watched as the stars moved slowly outside her ship. The days since the first meeting had been peaceful, but she knew something big was coming. The Zilari High Council had sent orders for a full diplomatic visit. The humans agreed. Now, a special meeting was planned between the leaders of both sides. Ambassador Stephen Cole prepared for the meeting with care. He wore the formal blue robes of the Zilari, each line and symbol on the fabric showing peace and unity. His face was calm, but inside, he was nervous. This was the first time in centuries that humans and another powerful race would speak as equals. Admiral Olivia Carter waited aboard the Endeavor. Her officers stood beside her, dressed in black uniforms with silver lines. They looked strong, but welcoming. She had trained her crew well. They all knew this moment could shape the future of the galaxy. As the Zilari ship docked, quiet filled the air. The doors opened. Cole stepped forward, followed by a few aides. Carter walked to meet him, her hand outstretched. "Welcome, Ambassador Cole," she said with a kind voice. "It is an honor to have you here." "The honor is mine, Admiral," he replied with a small bow. "We hope this day brings understanding." They walked through the wide halls of the Endeavor. Human soldiers and workers moved with silent discipline. They passed walls filled with art, images of stars, planets, and great events from human history. Cole stopped in front of one large picture. It showed a human helping a wounded alien. The colors were soft, the message clear. "This is beautiful," Cole said. "It is called the Hand of Peace," Carter explained. "It was painted many years ago. We believe in helping, not conquering." Cole nodded. "I hope many others will understand that." In a large chamber, leaders from both sides sat around a glowing table. Screens floated above them, showing maps, data, and old records. The meeting began. Carter spoke first. She told them how humanity had grown. She spoke of the hidden planet where humans had built a strong and peaceful society. She explained how they had stayed away from the galaxy to avoid war and greed. But now they had returned to help others who needed hope. Cole spoke next. He told the story of the Zilari, of their rise, their struggles, and their dreams. He said, many in the Empire wanted peace and friendship with the humans. Questions followed. A Zilari commander asked about the strength of human weapons. Carter answered with honesty. She did not hide their power, but she spoke of control and balance. Another asked why they had waited so long. Carter said, because before now, we were not ready to trust again. The talks lasted many hours. Slowly, respect grew. Some Zilari leaders still looked unsure, but most began to smile, even laugh. They listened to old human songs, tasted human food, and shared stories from their youth. Lara stayed in her ship during the talks, but she followed every word through the screen. She smiled as she saw leaders from two worlds finding common ground. Hartley walked in, carrying a new report. Captain, sensors picked up a strange signal. Lara turned away from the screen. From where? A small moon near the edge of the system. It's weak but unusual. She frowned. Keep watch. Let me know if it changes. The next day, the talks continued. This time, Carter brought forward a gift. A small cube was placed on the table. She pressed it, and a soft light filled the room. It showed a planet that was once dead, now green and alive. "This is what we can do," Carter said. "This is what we want to share." The Zilari leaders watched in silence. One whispered, "They can give life." Cole stood. "We are not afraid of what they can destroy. We are in awe of what they can build." Back on the frontier, the strange signal grew stronger. Lavra stood beside Hartley, both watching the screen. "This doesn't look natural," Hartley said. "It's too perfect." "Alert the Endeavor," Lavra said. "Something is out there." A message was sent. Carter responded quickly. "Thank you, Captain. We will investigate." Human ships moved silently. Toward the moon, Laura's ship followed. As they arrived, they saw something strange in Old Station. Not Zilari, not human. Its design was unknown. Inside the station, machines were still working. Lights flickered. Signals pulsed. Hartley stared. "This place is ancient. Who built it?" No one had answers. But one thing was clear. This galaxy held more secrets than anyone had guessed. Laura looked at the strange station. The humans were not the only ones with a hidden past. She knew this discovery would change everything again, and deep inside, she felt the story was only beginning. The strange station near the moon became the center of attention. Human engineers and Zilari scientists worked side by side, trying to unlock its secrets. Captain Laura Bennett walked slowly through the quiet halls of the station, her boots echoing on the metal floor. Lights flickered above her, and strange symbols glowed on the walls. Lieutenant Hartley followed close behind, scanning everything with his device. "These markings don't match anything in our records," he said. "Not Zilari," Lavra said softly. "Not human either. Something older." At the center of the station was a large chamber. In the middle stood a tall machine with a glowing core. It pulsed slowly, like a beating heart. Wires stretched from it in every direction. Some looked broken, others still worked. A human engineer named Elena knelt near the machine. "It's still active," she said. "Old but powerful." "This isn't just a station. It's a beacon." "A beacon?" Hartley asked. "Yes, it's sending a signal very deep into space. Not a warning, not a call for help. More like an announcement." Lavra frowned. "Then someone might be listening." Meanwhile, back on the Endeavor, Admiral Carter and Ambassador Cole reviewed everything they had learned. The discovery of the station had changed the talks. Both sides now felt the weight of a larger mystery. "This station is ancient," Cole said. "Whoever built it had knowledge far beyond ours. And it's waking up now," Carter added. "That can't be a coincidence." Some Zilari leaders were worried. They feared that unlocking the station would bring danger. But others, including Cole, believed it was a chance to understand the past and prepare for the future. News of the station spread fast. Across the Zilari Empire and beyond, people asked questions. Who built it? What was its purpose? Was it a warning or a gift? Lavra spent long hours inside the station. She read every report, spoke to every expert, and tried to understand. One night, as she walked alone near the control room, she found something new, a hidden panel with hand symbols. They looked like instructions. She called for Hartley. Together, they followed the steps. When they pressed the final symbol, the room filled with light. A projection appeared above them. It showed a map of the galaxy. Dots of light moved across it. Then a voice, soft and old, spoke in a language they didn't know. The translator worked slowly, but they got the message. "We were watchers. We saw the rise and fall of many. If you hear this, your time has come. Choose peace. Choose unity. Or fall as others did." Lavra stood frozen. She knew this was not just a message. It was a warning. They brought the recording to Admiral Carter and Ambassador Cole. The message played again, and silence filled the room. "So many before us," Carter said. "And now we are being watched." Cole nodded. "We must listen. This is not the time for fear." This is the time for wisdom. Despite the warning, not all Zilari leaders agreed. A small group believed the humans had found the station first because they knew where it was. They began to spread rumors that the humans had built it long ago and now used it to gain power. Lara heard these whispers. She knew they were dangerous. Lies had started wars before. She met with Cole privately. If fear spreads, this alliance will break, she said. We need to act, Cole replied. We must show everyone the truth. Carter agreed. She invited Zilari scientists and leaders to tour the station. She opened every part of it to study. No secrets, no tricks, just facts. One of the oldest Zilari scientists, Dr. Milas, spoke publicly after her visit. This station was not built by humans. It is older than both our kinds. And the humans have shared everything. Her words helped calm the fear. But only for a time. That night, a Zilari scout ship near the edge of the system vanished. Its last message was a simple warning. They're coming. The next day, the humans and Zilari met again. The room was quiet, heavy with worry. Who's coming? One leader asked. We don't know yet, Carter said. But we must prepare. Whatever built that station may not be gone, or something else may have heard the beacon. Lara stood in the back, arms crossed, heart heavy. She had hoped this would be a time of peace. But now, it seemed danger was coming from the dark. She knew one thing for sure. They had to face it together. Only unity would save them now. And somewhere in the deep cold of space, something answered the beacon. The system grew tense after the Zilari scout ship disappeared. People whispered about what could be coming. Some believed it was the builders of the station. Others feared it was something worse. Captain Laura Bennett stood on the bridge of the frontier, eyes fixed on the screen. Her ship now orbited near the station, keeping watch. Lieutenant Hartley sat beside her, reading new sensor data. Still no sign of the scout ship, he said. But something is moving out there. I can feel it. Keep scanning, Laura replied. We won't be surprised. At the same time, aboard the Endeavour, Admiral Olivia Carter called for a full meeting with Zilari leaders. She stood in the center of the room, her voice calm but clear. We must prepare, she said. This station sent a message. Something has answered. We cannot wait. Some Zilari leaders agreed. Others still doubted. One of them, Commander Liner, stood and spoke with suspicion. How do we know the humans did not cause this? You found the station. You turned it on. Now, danger comes. Ambassador Stephen Cole stood quickly. That is not true. The humans have shared everything with us. They did not build the station. They did not send the first signal. They only helped us find it. The room grew quiet. Finally, an older Zilari named Elder Tyrion spoke. His voice was soft but firm. We can fear the unknown, or we can face it together. The humans did not bring this danger. But they may help us stop it. Carter gave a small nod. We will stand with you. We are not here to take. We are here to protect. With this agreement, both sides began to prepare. Ships were moved into defense positions. Shields were raised. Weapons were checked and recharged. The station became a guarded site, with both human and Zilari forces watching over it. Laura and her crew worked long hours. Hartley led a team scanning deep space. Others trained in case of attack. Tension filled every room of the frontier. One night, Laura stood alone in the ship's observation deck. She looked out at the stars, her thoughts heavy. Hartley joined her. Do you think we're ready? I don't know, she said. But we have to try. We have to stand together. That's the only way. The next day, a signal came. A fleet had entered the system. But these ships were not human. They were dark, sharp, and fast. Their energy signatures were strange and unreadable. They did not answer any calls. The warning lights turned red across the fleet. Unknown vessels. Detected, Hartley said. They're not responding. Go to alert status, Laura ordered. Everyone to battle stations. The unknown ships moved in a wide formation. They didn't fire, but their silence spoke loudly. Admiral Carter contacted them again. "This is Admiral Olivia Carter of the Human Fleet. Identify yourselves." "We wish for peace." There was no reply. Then, suddenly one of the strange ships launched a probe. It flew fast toward the station. Laura watched it on her screen. "Intercept it," she said. A human fighter raced out and shot it down. The probe exploded in a small burst of light. That was the moment the unknown fleet began to move faster. "They're coming," Hartley said. "Hold position," Laura said. "We don't fire unless fired upon." But the enemy did not wait. Bright beams of energy shot out from the dark ships. The battle had begun. Human and Zilari ships fought side by side. The sky filled with light, fire, and broken metal. The unknown fleet was strong, fast, and seemed to know how to disable shields. Laura's ship shook as it was hit. "Damage on lower hull." Someone shouted. "Return fire," she said. "Protect the station at all costs." The Endeavor fired a powerful blast that broke through two enemy ships. Zilari cruisers moved in to cover smaller ships. The unity between humans and Zilari began to show strength, but the enemy kept coming. "There's too many," Hartley said. "We hold the line," Laura said. "We don't back down." Then, just as things grew worse, a new group of ships appeared. They were human ships, but older models. They had not been seen in years. Carter looked surprised. "That's the Lost Wing," she said. "We thought they were gone." The Lost Wing was a group of explorers who had left the human home system long ago. Now, they returned to help. The battle turned. With the extra ships, the humans and Zilari pushed the enemy back. One by one, the dark ships fell. Finally, the last of the enemy fleet broke apart and vanished into the stars. Cheers filled the ships. The battle was over. For now, Laura sat down in her chair, breathing hard. "We did it," she said. Hartley smiled. "Together." But deep inside, Laura knew this was not the end. It was only the beginning of something bigger. They had won a battle, but the real war had not yet begun. The system was quiet again, but the silence felt different. It was the silence after battle, the kind that held fear and questions. Captain Laura Bennett walked through the halls of the frontier. Her crew moved slowly, tired but proud. They had survived. They had stood side by side with the humans and the Zilari and fought, something no one understood. Lieutenant Hartley met her near the command deck. "Repairs are going well, but some systems will take time to fix. Let the crew rest when they can," Laura said. "They earned it." At the same time, on the Endeavor, Admiral Olivia Carter welcomed the Lost Wing. The returning fleet was smaller than expected. Their leader, Commander Jacob Miles, stepped forward with a tired but strong smile. "We heard the signal," he said. "We saw what was coming. We couldn't stay away." "You came at the right time," Carter replied. "Your help turned the battle." Jacob looked around at the other officers. "But this was just the first wave. More will come. We've seen their signs in distant space. These dark ships. They are part of something much bigger." The news spread quickly. Across human and Zilari networks, people asked questions. Who were these attackers? What did they want? And would they return? Ambassador Stephen Cole met with leaders from both sides. His voice was calm, but his words were serious. "The enemy is real. They are powerful. But we were stronger together. This alliance must not end here. We must grow it." A decision was made. A new joint command center would be built near the ancient station. Humans and Zilari would work together, sharing knowledge and planning defense. Laura stood with her crew as engineers and soldiers from both sides arrived. Tents and tools filled the ground below the station. Drones flew overhead. The area became busy with life and purpose. One night, Laura sat beside a small fire with Hartley, Jacob Miles, and a Zilari officer named Sarin. "I never thought I'd see the day," Sarin said, stirring a warm drink. Zilari, humans, and lost explorers sitting together like this. It feels right, Hartley said. We may be different, but we have the same goal now. Jacob nodded. The enemy doesn't care who. We are. They just destroy, so we fight back as one. The days passed quickly. Ships were repaired, plans were made, and training exercises began. New ships from both sides arrived with supplies and fresh soldiers. Carter and Cole led regular meetings. Lavra, Sarin, and Jacob all became key voices in the talks. The joint team grew stronger, more united. One morning, a new discovery was made. Inside the ancient station, another locked chamber opened. It contained data records in a strange code. Human and Zilari experts worked to translate it. After hours of work, the first part was understood. It was a warning. We were the first, the message said. We built the stars, then watched them fall. The enemy is hunger, silence, and shadow. It comes again. Do not face it alone. Carter read the message aloud to the council. Silence filled the room. It confirms what we feared, she said. These attackers have destroyed others before, and they will try again. Then we must be ready, Cole said. We need more than ships. We need unity. That same day, human and Zilari engineers began building new defenses around the station. Massive towers were placed with strong energy shields. Orbiting satellites were armed and positioned, but something else began to grow hope. Families from both sides began sending messages of support. Art, music, and even jokes were shared. The humans and Zilari began to learn from one another. Lavra watched her crew share meals with Zilari officers. She saw children from nearby Zilari. Colonies sent drawings of human and Zilari heroes flying ships together. It's more than just war now, Hartley said. It's about who we choose to be. Laura nodded. And we're choosing to be better. Late one evening, a message came in from a human colony far from the station. They had picked up a weak signal, similar to the one from the first station. Jacob Miles read it and looked up. There may be another station. Another piece of the puzzle. Carter stood. We need to find it. Every clue helps. A new mission was planned. A team of ships would travel to the signal's location. Laura volunteered at once. We're ready, she said. We'll find the truth. And so, as the stars stretched, wide before them once more, the humans, the Zilari, and the returning Lost Wing prepared for the next step, not just to survive, but to rise together. The new mission began at dawn. The sky above the station was clear, filled with the soft glow of distant stars. Captain Laura Bennett stood at the center of the Frontier's bridge, ready for departure. Her crew looked focused and determined. On the screen ahead, she could see the other ships forming up. Human, Zilari, and the ships of the Lost Wing moved together. Side by side. Lieutenant Hartley checked the last systems. All green, Captain. We're ready. Let's go, Lavra said. Ships jumped to faster-than-light speed, stars stretching into long lines. They flew for hours, following the strange signal. As they neared their destination, the signal grew stronger. The new system was dark, lit by a cold red sun. On a lonely planet below, another ancient station waited. Admiral Olivia Carter led the mission from the Endeavor. She spoke to all ships at once. We don't know what we'll find, but we face it together. Stay alert. Trust your team. The ships entered orbit. Small landing craft flew down to the planet. Laura led her team, with Hartley and a group of engineers. Beside them, Zilari and Lost Wing officers moved carefully, weapons ready but lowered. New station was even older than the first. Its walls were thick with dust and time. Strange lights glowed faintly, showing the way inside. The group moved slowly, searching every corner. Suddenly, Hartley stopped. He pointed at a door, half open, and covered in old symbols. There's something inside, he whispered. Laura nodded. She led the team forward. The door slid open with a heavy sound. Inside, a large chamber waited. In the center stood a strange machine, bigger than anything they had seen before. It pulsed with a deep red light, A voice filled the room, not from speakers, but from the walls themselves. The words came in a slow, ancient tone, translated by their devices. You have come far. You seek answers. The enemy is near. Only unity can save you. Everyone listened in silence. The machine showed images, galaxies fall into darkness, worlds burning, and finally, a circle of many species standing together, holding back the shadows. Laura felt a chill. It's warning us again, but also showing hope. Outside, the ships. Above picked up new movement. More dark ships entered the system. They came fast, faster than before. The alarm sounded. Admiral Carter's voice came through. All teams, return to ships. The enemy is here. Laura led her group back quickly. They rushed through the old halls, climbed aboard their craft, and lifted off. In space, the fleets took position. Human, Zilari, and Lost Wing ships all moved. Together, forming a wall between the enemy and the planet, the dark ships did not hesitate. They attacked at once, beams of energy slashing through space. The defenders fired back, shields glowing, hulls shaking. Laura guided the Frontier into the thick of the fight. Hartley managed the weapons. Shields holding for now, he said, but they're pushing hard. On the Endeavor, Carter directed the defense. Hold the line. Protect the planet and the station. The enemy ships were strong, but the defenders were united. Zilari's ships covered the weaker Lost Wing vessels. Humans sent drones and rescue pods. Teams shared data, patched shields, and even swapped crews mid-dash battle. Then, something new happened. The ancient machine on the planet lit up with a powerful blue light. It sent out a wave of energy, sweeping through space. The dark ships slowed, confused. Their weapons failed for a moment. Now, Carter called, all ships push forward. With the enemy weakened, the defenders surged. Human and Zilari ships fired together. Lost Wing ships attacked from behind. One by one, the dark ships broke apart and fell. Finally, the last enemy ship vanished. The battle was over. Silence returned, this time warm with hope. On the Frontier, the crew cheered. Hartley hugged Laura. We did it! Together. Across the fleet, messages of joy and relief filled the air. The machine's voice spoke once more. You have passed the test. Your unity is your strength. Remember this, and the darkness will never win. Back on the station, Carter and Cole met with Zilari and Lost Wing leaders. They agreed to form a permanent alliance. Together, they would watch the stars, ready for any threat. They would share knowledge and dreams, building a future where no one faced the dark alone. As the fleets turned for home, Laura looked out at the stars. They were no longer just lights in the dark. They were a promise that together, anything was possible. Somewhere, in the heart of every ship and every world, a new story began. A story of hope, courage, and unity among the stars.